Welcome to Business Reporter's The Future of Retail campaign. I'm Rachel Hicks. Personalisation is king. Consumers of all brands have come to expect the same level of attention and personalisation that they receive from the biggest and boldest tech companies. They want effortless interaction and personal offers across all devices. Many retailers understand this, and they try to emulate the experience provided by large tech companies. But is it enough to engage customers based on their past behaviour and past purchases alone? Can retailers personalise their offering and adapt their marketing in real time? Well, that's what we're going to discuss with Mr. Abhishek Gupta, Chief Customer Officer at CleverTap, a company that is a provider of industry-leading user retention and hyper-personalisation platform. Mr. Gupta believes that the future belongs to those retailers who harness hyper-personalisation. We're hearing about personalisation. Everybody's talking about it, everybody's claiming that they need it. And you're talking about hyper-personalisation. So what is it?
We all have experienced personalization at some level. When a brand sends an email to us with a name on it, that is personalization. When we receive an email on our birthday, that is personalization. Hyper-personalization is a totally different and a new paradigm for customer experience. We believe that hyper-personalization will end up as one of the most critical imperatives for success for retailers on a move-forward basis. In a hyper-competitive environment, success will be achieved by those who are able to build long-term relationships with their customers. And hyper-personalization in a privacy-compliant manner will be the very foundation on which these long-term relationships will be built.
Okay, so we understand what's at stake and the long-term relationship with the customer, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit more.
Hyper-personalization is built on three core pillars. The first one is individualization. You have to be able to engage this one user that you care about, that you want to engage. It is about the segment of one, not a cohort. The second is real-time predictive engagement. You have to be able to offer customers what they came looking for when they visit your website or app. And the third is customer's journey. You have to be able to offer hyper-personalized experiences to the customer throughout the journey with the brand, from the time of activation to the time they do the first purchase, to the time they become a loyal customer for yourself, to the time they actually become an advocate for you. Contextualized hyper-personalization done in real time throughout the life cycle of a customer sets the new age brands apart because marketing and communication become a value exchange, and all of this in a fiercely customer-centric manner. It's actually very straightforward. Retailers want to succeed, and hyper-personalization helps them achieve two critical business outcomes. The first is increase in revenues. Second is reduction in cost. Let me explain both of them with a simple example. So when you think about increase in revenues, what we have seen is by using hyper-personalizations, brands are able to achieve a 10x increase in the lifetime value of their customers through increase in key conversion rates, through increase in repeat purchase rates, through increase in average order value, because you are offering customers what they're really looking for from you. The second is in terms of cost. Now, brands spend a great deal of money in terms of acquiring customers, and the cost of customer acquisition over the last several years has only gone up. The research shows that 90% of the customers acquired by a brand, they leave them within the first 90 days. Now, that's massive attrition. Now, if you're able to bring down the 90% down to 80%, just a small change, you will be able to bring down a 50% reduction in the cost of every retained user. In a hyper-competitive environment, having that level of capital efficiency will allow brands to achieve massive success by putting hyper-personalization at the core of the strategy.
When they're looking at the business implementation, they're thinking about scaling up solutions and operating them. Tell us how you, CleverTap, are helping businesses scaling hyper-personalisation and operating it.
At CleverTap, we have always been focused on helping retailers achieve two critical objectives. One, increase user retention. Second, allow them to do hyper-personalization. Hyper-personalization is at the core of the product that we have built. So for example, we build our own proprietary database and our own data analytics engine Arc that allows brand to ingest vast amount of data, synthesize all of this in real time, and be able to engage with users in their context on a real-time basis. We also allow brands to ingest high-fidelity data from their website, from the app, from other third-party systems they use, and bring all of this together in CleverTap, where they are able to utilize the CleverTap's proprietary artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies to be able to provide these relevant engagement to the customers, which are predictive in nature, but very contextual, very real time. And the third is we have purpose-built a platform that allows brands to engage with their customers throughout their life cycle. So brands are able to do analytics, segmentation, engagement, orchestration on one single platform. Now, scale for us has been at the core because we work with brands who have hundreds of millions of customers. So for brands to succeed, scale has to be a part of their core strategy. It cannot be an afterthought, because when you have to engage with millions of customers multiple times a day in a hyper-personalized manner, you have to think of scale front and center right from the very beginning.
So not long ago, you published a Fit for Future of Retail report. What is it? What can we expect from it? And how can we use it?
Instead of trying to overemphasize a problem or articulate it in different ways, we actually took a major step forward. We decided to take a decisive step to help retailers address the problem. What we did is we spoke to hundreds of our customers in retail across the globe to understand from them what their core priorities were, what are the problems they are facing, what are they trying to achieve in their businesses. We also analyzed millions of data points, and from that, we built this Fit for the Future retail framework. And this framework allows retailers to do two things. One is we have identified the objectives that matter to retailers, whether it be in terms of increase in user retention, whether it be in terms of increase in user engagement, or whether it be in terms of increasing the order transactions. For each one of these business outcomes, we have laid out strategies that are tightly coupled with different stages of customers' journey. And we have provided actionable approaches to retailers through this playbook so that they can actually get a jump start from the very beginning. We are not just trying to provide the technology that enables hyper-personalization. Through the Fit for the Future framework, we are providing retailers an actionable playbook that they can utilize to serve their customers in a hyper-personalized manner throughout the different stages of the journey with the brand.
We're hearing a lot about Metaverse. What are your thoughts on it?
Metaverse is in early stages of its evolution. From a retail standpoint, Metaverse will allow retailers to offer a new experience to their customers by combining the engagement of physical retail with the range of options provided by online commerce. Now, in a situation like this, when you want customers to try and experiment and test different products, you have to make sure that you're able to get the customers to these targeted products that matter to them in the most efficient manner. From our standpoint, Metaverse is a continuum of what we are already doing with respect to hyper-personalization. So the top three key takeaways from my standpoint would be, the first is individualization. You have to think about this one customer that you want to serve, and you have to focus on that customer, and that's how you will build your success. The second is about having an intelligent data layer. Today, retailers collect vast amounts of data in their systems, but if only a very small fraction of that is utilized by them to serve the customers. So you have to make sure that you're capturing the data and are in a position to utilize it for the benefit of your business, for the benefit of your customers. And the third aspect is around customer journey. You have to make sure that you are focused on the journey of the customers and not only on the narrow transactional objectives. So you have to make sure that outside of the transactional actions that you take to encourage users to come and shop more, you have to cultivate the relationship. You have to educate the users. So use the power of the data that you have to cultivate this relationship, to build this relationship so that these customers will continue with you for a longer period of time.